Hello everyone, this is your host, Gabriel Garcia, otherwise known as the Wandering Quill and the Wandering Scribe, coming to you live with a late night book impressions episode. And the first book we will be reading today is one by Cecil Castelucci called Tin Star. Now, I showcased this book earlier this year as one of the many books that I bought at Anacon. Now, as a little refresher, Tin Star follows the story of Tula, who finds herself on an alien space station abandoned and far from Earth, and she befriends the natives of that station, one of them being Heckleck, who helps her survive in the deep underbellies of the station. And when she gets back on her feet, she thirsts for revenge. Why? Because she was kicked out by her own people prior to this. And when 3 humans crash on the space station, the itch to escape for them is irresistible. But as the maps of the galaxy change, Tula discovers that things are much more interconnected than she thought, and vengeance will not be so easy. So let us begin. Tin Star by Cecil Castelucci. To the stars, we all make homes among the stars. Chapter 1. There are few things colder than the blackness of space, but lying here, I couldn't imagine anything colder than the human heart that left me half conscious at the entrance of Docking Bay 12. I knew where I was, though. I was on a space station called the Yertina Feray, 16 light years from Earth, orbiting a depleted, lifeless planet. I knew where I was supposed to be, on the Children of Earth colony ship heading for the planet Beta Grande, and I knew what Brother Blue was thinking, that my body was no longer his problem. Again, I felt his boot come towards me to turn to kick my life away. I braced myself for the blow and then played dead. He kicked me one last time, and satisfied that I was truly gone, he pulled me beside the cargo canisters of grain that had been loaded off our ship, the Prairie Rose. My nose mask had been ripped off, and the station's space atmosphere mix wasn't going to keep me conscious for much longer. I cracked open one of my swollen eyes as much as I dared. I wanted to get a good look at him as he stood there above me, taking a moment to compose himself. I had gone from being one of his favorite colonists with prospects for a good future with the Children of Earth to persona non grata in a matter of days. I never knew a fall could be so quick. Brother Blue had taken a special interest in me when he discovered that I could speak a passable Universal Galactic. I'd always been good at languages, but Brother Blue discouraged colonists from learning Universal Galactic or getting the nanites to make communication and breathing easier. We are setting up human-only colonies, he had said. We won't be interacting with others. Our mission is to preserve human ways. He discouraged us all for knowing too much about the galaxy and other cultures. Earth was isolationist, and our colonies would follow suit. We would bring human culture to the stars and trade with aliens and be richer for it, but we would keep to ourselves. This was Brother Blue's promise. Brother Blue spent hours telling me his dreams for colonization, flattering me with muses of how high I could raise in the ranks in the Children of Earth. I'm grooming you, Tula, he said. You are exactly the kind of person that the Children of Earth needs to help in its cause. He had this way of making me feel as though I was the only colonist that ever counted. His look was penetrating, and when he spoke of his visions for humanity, I was ready to sacrifice anything to help him achieve it. I wasn't the only one that felt that way. All the colonists of the Children of Earth felt as though they had been specifically chosen by Brother Blue. It was an honor, even though I had only reluctantly joined because of my mother's devotion to his cause. I soon felt at one with the group. When we diverted to the Yertina Feray due to a ship malfunction, I became more essential to Brother Blue. He put me to work delivering messages to various aliens that he had to deal with to ensure our ship's repairs. I was one of the few colonists who ventured out on the docking bay where we had set up camp. It felt, or rather, I felt special each time I stepped onto another level of the station. I imagined my future. It looked so bright. I could be important, perhaps a leader of our new colony. I imagined rising through the ranks of the children of Earth. I ran through the colors that I might choose as my name when I had proven my worth. Sister Gray, Sister Lilac, Sister Teal, Sister Gold. But something changed. I'd often been sent to Kisak Rosok's bar to deliver messages back and forth between Brother Blue and representatives of the League of Worlds. They held the reins for our colony's future. But in the last few days, Brother Blue had gone himself and I wasn't needed. Today, the day we were to leave the Yertina Feray station, I saw our cargo that should have been on the ship, sitting in the docking bay floor. This is the terrible oversight. It would be disastrous for our colony if we didn't have the grain we needed to start our new life. The grain was the beginning of how we would tame Beta Grande. Life would already be hard there, and without the cargo, sustaining life would be nearly impossible. Why were the other colonists not concerned that the grain that we were to plant with was all being left behind? Why did no one else notice? I asked my mother. I simply shrugged. Brother Blue knows what he's doing, she said. My mother used to always argue with my father when he was alive, questioning him all the time, but she never did with Brother Blue. He always was right in her eyes. I pointed the grain out to a few others who seemed unperturbed by the cargo on the deck. It was as though no one wanted to see it. But it bothered me. It made no sense. Sir, I said to one of the ship's officers milling about on deck, why is that cargo still out there not on the ship? The young officer turned to look at the cargo and then called over the other officer, who shook his head. But at least they agreed with me that it seemed strange. Brother Blue was called over, and he listened to our concerns with an attentive look. When he soothed the officer's worry, he took me over to a private corner. He had his hands on my shoulder in a way that he had a million times before. Only before it was comforting, encouraging, affectionate. Now it was menacing. He was looking at me, and his face was smiling. To anyone looking from afar, he seemed to be pleased with me, but it was just a mask. His attitude shifted from concerned leader to a noble monster. What place do you have to question my orders? He hissed. Suddenly I was unsure of myself of what I knew. Although this was my first day and likely only trip into space, I already knew something was going incredibly wrong. Surely he didn't mean to explain the importance of the cargo to him. I would have thought that he would be happy I'd noticed. I felt confused by his reaction. Was I wrong? No, I couldn't be. Why was this happening? We were going to be settling a planet. While there were indigenous planets, it would take years before we cataloged what could and couldn't be consumed by humans. The children of Earth had a calling to make a human oasis among the stars. Our plans for colonization came at a high price because once we left Earth, we were exiled for good. Earth Gov had a different priority, to rebuild from years of drought and plague. But we of the children of Earth were certain in the long run we were in the best for our future of humanity, just as those who had left before in the generational ships prior. We needed the grain, and those seeds ensured our future. We'll need that grain, I said. We colonists will need the supplies. Tula Payne. He said, you really are very smart. It's a pity that you don't listen to me. But I do listen to you, I said. I'm just trying to be helpful, Brother Blue. I'm just trying to learn. He considered me thoughtfully. His grip on my shoulder was no longer threatening. It was a pat of confidence, just like he used to give me when I had done something right. Relief flooded me. His smile changed to something more genuine. Child, I hear you, I see you, but don't continue yourself in the affair to say you know nothing about, Brother Blue. Learn to unlearn. Yes, Brother Blue, I said, bowing my head in respect. He had a vision, and he had knowledge that I did not. We all trusted that he knew what was best for us. Have I not already helped 4 human colonies settle in the rocky planets that the League of Worlds has so graciously leased us? Beta Grande will be our 5th. He said, I know what I'm doing, Tula Payne. Of course, Brother Blue, I said. I didn't mean to question your orders. I can see that you didn't. He said, you're being enthusiastic, but I need you to follow and do what I say. Yes, Brother Blue, I said. I need you to go to the Praga ship on Docking Bay 5 and make a delivery. But I want to help here, I said, with the load-in. The errand would take me away from the pre-ordering opportunities. Do as I asked. Tula, Brother Blue said, and he flashed a smile. The one that made me feel as though we were the only persons in the universe. How could I ever doubt Brother Blue knew what he was doing? There are plenty of strong bodies to load, Brother Blue assured me. I had no choice but to obey his wishes as we set about our final preparations. I took a bag heavy of fresh food, salts, and waters from Earth to the docking bay with the Brahar ship, and gave the bag to the captain. It was of great value. I tried to ignore the desperate aliens who were begging for work near his ship. Tell them she's fueled and ready to go, the captain said. I made my way back to Brother Blue, my family, and the other colonists before reboarding commenced for the final leg of the Prairie Rose's voyage. I feel relieved to see the docking bay had been cleared. The error had been corrected. I needn't worry after all. I took a look around the hangar. We were nearly ready to go. I wrote a message to Brother Blue, who seemed to understand it. He smiled and touched my face. Tula, for one so young, you have been such a help to me on this voyage, Brother Blue said, coming up to me as I stood with my mother and sister Biddy. Thank you, Brother Blue, I said, for the opportunity to be of service. We're very proud of her, my mother chimed in. Come with me, Tula. I have something for you. A gift. A gift? Good work must be rewarded. I looked at my mother and sister. They were nervous. My mother did not like space travel, although it was she who had decided to move the family off of Earth. Biddy was 3 years younger than I was and frightened of everything. I'd rather stay here with my mother and sister. I said, I insist. It'll be all right, Mother said. Her pride was showing as the others took note of the special attention Brother Blue was giving me. She nudged forward. The higher it rose, the better it would be for all of us. We'll be fine without you for a little while. I followed Brother Blue to the hangar outer rooms, and there, stacked in the corner, were bins of grain. They're still not on board, I said. Surely this time he would explain to me why they were not on the ship. You held such promise, Tula, but you have eyes that see in the dark, Brother Blue said. It's such a disappointment that you had to exhibit this independent streak so late in the game. If I had seen it earlier, I had never taken you under my wing. I don't understand, but instead of answering it, I was punched in the face. Why? I tried to ask, blood filling my mouth. He hit me again, and I was too stunned to scream. He did not stop until I was limp. At some point, my air mask was knocked off, and the atmosphere of the space station struck me as though it were another blow. It was only when he thought that I was dead that he moved away from me into the hangar where the colonists were gathered, leaving me behind the forgotten cargo bins full of grain that had concerned me so. I wanted to groan, but my lungs ached. I wanted my mother, but I couldn't call out. I wanted to promise Brother Blue that I would not question his wisdom or mention the cargo bins ever again, but I knew better than to let that yet finish the job. I strained my ears to listen as he gave a speech to his followers. Brothers and sisters of Earth, you're on an incredible journey. I envy you as you set out on your new home. Circumstances have forced me to change my plan. I must deal with the politics and data work the League of Worlds requires. He explained that he would instead be heading to Besson, a moon which serves as the capital of the League of Worlds, to consult with the 5 major species and other minor species members about new planets that the children of Earth were bidding for. He would then go back to Earth. He informed the colonists that he had bought a small ship that will immediately leave after the Prairie Rose left. I listened more to his speech, but he did not mention rendezvousing with the colonists on Beta Grande at a later date. This was a significant change. Brother Blue always went with the colonies all the way to the planets for the first landing day. Only when the first season was through and the colony were deemed as thriving would he go back to Earth to handle the coordinating and recruiting for the next batch of colonists. There was a collective moan of fear from the colonists. Brother Blue had promised that he be there with us every step of the way. He had so often told us that he was the only one who could protect us on our journey from the perils of space, from aliens, and from the humans left over from the generational ships who set out to the stars in the past, settled nowhere, and wandered in Rome. They had grown too wild to join the children of Earth, the colonies, and were not welcome back on Earth. I wanted to stand, but I couldn't move. And if I did, I was afraid he would surely finish me off. Cowardice kept me quiet. He continued, hushing like a soothing father. I know, it's disappointing to me as well, but you are the true pioneers. I envy your adventure. The first days of a new planet full of hope and possibility is my favorite part of the mission to settle the world that we aim to call home. I will think of you as the Prairie Rose heads to its new planet and wish you speed and light as you begin to grow and build and make new homes. Although Earth Gov does not appreciate it yet, you are doing a great thing for humanity. When the time gets tough and we already see that can, by our unscheduled stop here, remember that what you do, your courage, your strength, your perseverance, will always be remembered. There was applause. Then I listened as the colonists began to board the Prairie Rose. Brother Blue was likely standing at the entrance of the ship, and I could hear him as he shook hands with every one of the colonists and wished them luck. Surely my family had noticed by now that I had gone missing. I shifted my body and watched as best I could from behind the crate as my fellow Earthling colonists filed past the anteroom that hid me. They walked in order, as they had been taught. They walked with their heads down, as they had been taught. What I long suspected was true. We only saw what we were told to see, but now I was seeing something else. Brother Brew was like a magician I'd seen once when I was young, distracting the eye from what he was really doing. I thought back to all the times he had confided in me and realized that they were all tactics to keep me from asking questions. I had been fooled. The grain had been the last in a long line of things that had bothered me somehow. His words always told a different story, a enthusing story, a logical explanation for things that didn't add up. All along I know deep down that something was not quite right, but I had been blinded by my desire for a position in the future with the children of Earth. I had been kept in place by not wanting to rock that boat. I would not make that mistake again. And we will stop here. Now, this is a very interesting story, very much like a Castaway story, even though we're not there yet. Cecil Castelucci really grasped the world building of this. We get a few instances that there are other life. We don't know what that life looks like. We know that the children of Earth are separate from the Earth government and view themselves differently, that they know what they are doing is right. Now, this story is very easy to follow. It's told from Tula Bain's perspective, which is always nice. And ultimately, this is a great read. For a sci-fi story, I would definitely give this a 4 out of 5. And I will link where to purchase it down below in the description of this video. Well, I hope you enjoyed this late night episode. Don't worry, there will be more coming soon. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below.